Life Audio.
Today on Talk About That, John defies his GPS and begrudgingly admits his father's motto was actually pretty great. Meanwhile, I brag about my elite status on a budget airline and tell the story of the time a solar eclipse stopped a war and led to a royal wedding. Plus a conversation about validating our feelings without always being driven by them. Today's episode is not sponsored by golf, the angriest you've ever been while walking in ugly pants. But first, a word from our actual sponsor.
Yo, it's John and Johnny. Yo. That's right, I said it.
You said yo twice.
I did.
That's too many.
It's back.
I would say it's too many.
You think so? You don't think a guy my age can say yo? Do you have that guy in your life? We both have a guy in our life that sometimes he'll just send you a text that says, yo.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we don't have to do this.
It's like he needs you to respond before he'll give you the other part of the...
He wants to make sure, I guess, he has your attention.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Or if you're people to go, question.
Like, this is a text. All you got to do is ask the question.
Somebody sent me an Instagram message the other day and it said, quick question. And then didn't put the question. And it was like an hour went by and I go... Well, if that's it, I don't...
Interesting.
And I was like, just call me.
Yeah.
It was another comedian, and then they called me. And it wasn't a quick question. It was a very detailed question that needed me to talk to them. So it wouldn't have been able to be answered on Instagram anyhow. So, but it's fine.
Let's name that person. Who was that, Johnny?
Steve Martin. He wanted my advice.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm happy to help.
So... Are you home this weekend?
I'm home for a couple of weeks.
Wow.
How you like
so
that?
The career's struggling.
The career is, we would call it a slog right now. I have a show coming up at Zany's Comedy Club in Nashville, Tennessee, June 3rd. Jonnie W and friends. And I got some friends coming in from out of town. And I'm very excited about the lineup. Do not miss that one. There's only 100 seats in the lab. So
yeah, the lab's a cool place.
It's a cool place. So go to my website, JonnieW.com, if you want to get tickets to that show, June 3rd, Nashville, Tennessee. It's worth a trip to Nashville just to see that show. If you're ever thinking about, hey, let's visit Nashville, this would be the time.
This would be the time.
Yeah.
Nashville's a great place to visit.
Summertime, the living's easy.
It's, you and I were downtown. We actually went to a friend's birthday party.
Yeah.
And we were bowling over at Pinewood Social, which is a really cool place in Nashville.
Yeah, it's very hip.
And then we were leaving because I'm the native Nashvilleian, so I kind of know my way. And your GPS told you take a left onto Hermitage Avenue, which turns into First Avenue, then Hermitage Avenue, then Lebanon Road.
Sure.
And you said, "Let's go left," and I was like, "Yeah, but we're right here at the interstate. I mean, we're right here." And so you listened to me
instead of the
machine.
Mm-hmm.
And
what happened, John?
We went straight into a construction zone and sat in traffic for an extra, 35 minutes probably?
Yeah.
And I'd like to publicly say that I'm sorry. I didn't know.
You were so frustrated at that, whatever you would refer to as wasted time. I was like, John, do you have to be somewhere? You were like, well, I'm going home.
I'm stuck in a car with Johnny.
That's what I mean. It was like, I got to get out of this car. I'm like, good Lord, what's going on?
No, it wasn't that.
You were very frustrated.
I was frustrated because I failed. Look, you got to realize this. This is my therapy thing. Avoidable trouble.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. If you would have decided to go, I'd have been like, oh, it's fine. But since I decided and messed it up, that's why. It was my fault. I don't want to be at fault, Johnny. That's what I'm getting at. I don't want to be at fault.
Are your computer noises picking up on the thing?
Maybe. No, they're not.
John's got notifications going off over here.
Sorry, I have to check in a flight here in a little bit.
Quit some things.
I have to.
Quit some programs.
Even though we're on.
Do you have to multitask when we're together?
I can't help it. I have to check in a flight. We're not all A-list.
Well, you must try it. It's fantastic.
Some of us have to actually check in still.
Southwest is making all those changes. They're getting ready to start charging for bags. May 28th is when they start charging for bags.
Do we have assignments now of seats? Or
no, not till next year. They've pushed it for a year because they have to mod out all the planes. They have to retrofit all the planes to make that happen.
I think I'm pretty excited about that one. I'm tired. You and I have been on a lot of flights together.
Yeah.
and one of us will get on.
Yeah. And there's that panic attack of like, am I going to be?
Right. We're holding it. People are walking by, don't make eye contact.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, can I sit here? You're like, well, I'm kind of waiting on a friend. And if they want to, they just go, well, I don't care. There's rules. I mean, it really is like, it's a Lord of the Flies boarding for Southwest.
Well, you know what they say, because I've asked people, they go, you can't save seats. And you know what the flight attendants always say, right? They go, actually, that's not true. We don't have a seat saving policy. So that's how they get around it.
Oh.
So they don't have a seat-saving policy for or against. That's why they stay Switzerland on it. So you can save seats on Southwest.
Really?
They can't stop you from saving seats.
Guys, this is a travel podcast.
It's just they want the fight that you get in with the other person to not. They don't want to be culpable in any way to it.
Interesting.
So if they tell you, no, you can't save seats, you have to let this person sit here. Now you're going to make your wife mad.
But seeing society as it is the best option to just leave it up to all of us to work it out?
100% no.
What was it? I was watching a thing the other day, and it was, I'm not going to say who, but I can say one of the who's. Ted Koppel was being interviewed by someone off of one of the media networks that tends to think anybody like Ted Koppel is not great.
Right.
But they were having this conversation, and the guy asks, you don't think that I'm good for America? Mm-hmm. And Ted says, no.
He just was honest.
Yeah, and the guy kept trying to speak over him. He goes, if you let me explain, I will. He's like, the deal is you're very good at what you do. Mm-hmm. And he said, well, I just think that the American people can be trusted to figure it out for themselves. He goes, yeah, but you're so good at what you do. It's no longer about the news. It's about your opinion of the news and people joining you in that opinion. It's not about what actually happened. So his point was like, you can't, and if you look back at republicanism, the republicanism versus true democracy and how the Constitution is created and how it was envisioned, Johnny, it wasn't envisioned to give power directly to people. It was envisioned to give power to representatives who the people would elect because they felt that there were those who would exemplify the best parts of people, that they believe there are those who I can trust, who are smarter than me, right? And so their job is for me to elect them, and they spend their time making decisions that I might not be qualified to make. I'm going to elect a qualified person.
Yeah.
And so my whole point is Southwest, they're leaving this to straight democracy, and it's no wonder that fights are breaking out left and right.
Have you seen a fight on a Southwest plane?
No.
Yeah.
I almost started
It
one.
is stressful, though, when you have to, especially me, like I think that's when you kind of realize you have anxiety is like I'm already planning my steps way ahead of time, like when the plane gets to the gate and I know I'm like, all right, I'm going to grab that, I'm going to do this. I'm trying to make it out of the other person's way so fast. I don't know if everybody does that. I don't think everybody else is like thinking way ahead.
Yeah.
Of like, I feel so weird when I have to like stand up and then like, I just need a minute to get because my guitar is like, I'm afraid I'm going to hit somebody in the head with it because it's in the overhead. Anyway, I'm a good person.
Well,
that's the point.
I don't know. You think being worried makes you a good person, don't you?
I think
John, let's unpack that for a few minutes.
We don't have time.
Yeah.
We don't have time, John.
Yeah.
But no, but the Southwest changes will be interesting, but I think people are upset about the bag fees because that's kind of what made them Southwest is like, we don't charge for bags, even though it's definitely rolled into the fare.
How do you get away with completely changing the whole, and how much money is it really going to save them or make them?
It'll make a lot of money. Because now there are people who just leave them and go like, well, I just may as well fly with Delta if you're not going to give me that benefit. But for somebody like me, I'm all in. I've been flying Southwest so long that I'm like, I'm their elite status or whatever.
You get 2 free bags regardless, don't you?
Yeah, I will. I'll get 2. And even I found out my companion, because I have companion pass, Curry will get 2 free bags as well. So I'll be unaffected by these changes.
Unbelievable.
Huh? There's your privilege.
You're very elitist.
I'm very insulated from the rest of you. Yeah. And I look down at you, but not in a bad way.
Well, just from the airplane.
From the airplane.
Right.
From the sky.
It's hard to see from where you are.
Yeah.
But you're still looking down.
But think about it. If you're elite status on Southwest, that's like, you know what I'm saying? That's like being corporate at Walmart. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not.
No offense to any of you who are corporate at Walmart.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's a fine company. I'm not sure of that.
You're not sure.
I'm not sure, but it's fine. Yeah. Do you shop at Walmart a lot? Are you a Walmart person?
Well, we have a Walmart across the street from the church, basically.
Yeah. So you're there quite a bit.
I mean, we're more likely to do a Walmart.
I'm not saying I'm better than Walmart. Yeah.
You're not saying it.
That story years ago about Walmart buying policies on their elderly greeters, like insurance policies that would pay out to Walmart. Like they'd hire you, but they had these, because that's not illegal.
Was that real?
Today. I don't know. If it's real, it's super creepy.
I'm glad we're spreading it.
Well, I'm not. If it's real, I'm saying that's one of the reasons I don't, I have a problem with Walmart. And I don't know if it's even real. So I need to do some more research.
Yeah, before you go just spewing things, what if Walmart wants to be a sponsor?
I will issue a correction next week if it's not true. But if it is true, we're going to go all in and we're going to do a 30-minute expose. It will be the beginning. Walmart's going to rue the day.
I was asked the other day, because now I contribute to a website now and a publication. And I was asked to, they actually said, hey, would you be interested in writing this on this topic?
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those rare times. I think you and I both have this in life. When someone asks us, can you do something?
Yeah.
What's the answer?
Yes.
The answer is yes.
And I'll figure it out.
And now I'm like, I don't know if the answer should be yes.
Yeah, if you go, well, I mean, that's the thing too, is like, we always say that to other people. If it's okay not to have an opinion on something, or it's okay to say, like, I'm not the expert on this, but then sometimes people who are in the arts or write or do what I do, it's like, you're afraid that you'll never get offered another thing ever again.
Right.
If you say no. So you have to pretend to be the...
I don't know. I think I live in imposter syndrome. I'm just okay with it.
Yeah.
Like, I think I really am an imposter, but I keep getting away with it. So it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, that's a whole other level of imposter syndrome. I just have embraced it.
You're like a super spy.
Yeah. Like, of course I'm an imposter, but none of you will probably figure it out.
Because maybe you think they're all imposters too. That's another way to go deep, where they're like, well, everybody's just out here coping. So I've just learned to do it better. It's like when Barry Bonds and all those guys were on steroids. Well, half the league was on steroids. They were still they were just doing it better. Lance Armstrong said everybody was doping when he was winning races. So
I'm just better.
That's how he justified it. He's like, I'm just better at doping than you.
I'm better at being on steroids than other people.
The steroids are imposter syndrome.
That's interesting.
Won't that?
We just created a thing.
I think that's in your new book. Doping.
I thought of a book. I'm probably not going to say it in the air.
Oh.
But I thought of a book.
Because you're afraid somebody to take it?
No, but...
We do have a lot of listeners now.
I thought of a book idea for me and you to write.
Okay.
I'm just going to leave it right there.
All right. Well, that's what we call in radio a tease.
That's a tease.
And I think this is a good time to stop and hear a word from a few of our fine sponsors here to talk about that.
I often think about the book writing process with you and I.
What it would be?
Yeah.
The tug of war, the give and take.
My job is to help people get books written. Mm-hmm. Your job is to perfect words. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not trying to perfect words. You can't perfect 50,000 words like you can perfect 100.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a bloodbath, but it's going to be worth it.
It would be. I mean, and the thing is, like, I want something to be refined out the gate. I feel like I enjoy refining something, but I also feel like I'm at the point now where I don't even like saying something in front of a crowd until I think it's like 50% done.
Yeah. You're going to have to get over a little bit of that.
I know.
The deal is...
For book writing, but I'm saying not for what I do.
Because it'll just be me and you.
Yeah.
And then we refine it. But if you never say it, come on, guys. If you never say that thing, how do you have room to be refined? If you have to wait. I mean, do we come out of the kiln of God's process completely ready?
No.
I don't think so.
I'm going to say no. Yeah, I've heard authors, I can't remember if it was Anne Lamott or somebody say that basically when they write a first draft, they just don't think of it. They don't think of the finished product at all. They think of themselves as just dumping a bunch of sand into a sandbox, and then they'll make the castle later.
Yeah.
So they think of it as a totally different process than refining.
I
like that. You let yourself off the hook a little bit.
I 100% agree. And I'll advise people, don't edit. You have to compose.
Don't edit as you go.
Compose is very different. Be creative. Say everything you think you might want to say.
Yeah.
And then you can worry about it later. It's not going anywhere. But if you stop and try to edit as you compose, you'll never get a chapter done.
I think our book is not going anywhere, but that just could be me.
It's just some interesting ideas about it. But hey, Johnny, it's about that time.
Oh,
it's my quote of the week. It's a segment we call "They Talked About That." Well, that's pretty good today. Could have been better. Today, a former prime minister in the 1920s of England, Andrew Bonar Law, said, "Perpetual inspiration is as necessary to the life of goodness, holiness, and happiness as perpetual respiration is necessary to animal life."
Interesting.
Perpetual inspiration versus perpetual respiration. And I think for me, it's not like just about, when we say inspiration in the modern day, what do you think of?
Like, I don't know, being inspired, like creativity or whatever.
Right. It's a much more like, to me, flowery, feel good kind of thing.
Yeah.
Versus, I think it's a lot emotion right now about inspiration to me is about understanding something that's outside of myself and not just being confined to whatever negative realities present themselves.
Or like purpose, like if you know there's hardship, but you feel like you have a purpose, and without you, that thing won't get done. So there's something that drives you. That's probably a little better than just like this idea of like, I'll wait for this magical inspiration to come, and then I'll get to whatever I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, and I think that's the idea for me is. And Laura and I had this conversation this week because we have a 16-year-old daughter. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know how it is for everyone else with 16-year-old daughters, but feelings are a big deal. And you don't want to be dismissive of feelings, right?
Yeah.
But you also don't want to be dependent on them. And this is that very difficult balance of like, how do I validate feelings and also teach her that you can't rely on those. And so like we'll have a conversation like, hey, feelings are like waves. They're real and they move the boat.
Yeah.
But they don't move the boat where you want it to go. Right? And so when we say inspiration, I think for me it's about not being driven by feelings, but being driven by some truth that inspires me. That's higher than me. And so I will talk about, but you can set your course by the stars. They are moving, but at the same time, they're moving
in predictable patterns.
Correct.
Yeah.
If you go towards the North Star, it's going to send you the direction you want to go. And so
if you believe in stars.
Right.
Oh.
Or true north. But, and so I think like, I want to be the guy, and I think we're really confused in culture about positivity versus reality. And you're either like this person that's all Pollyanna about everything.
Right, you're just delusional.
Right. Or you're this person that's just who I can be if I'm not careful, who sees the bottom, of everything and is never able to be inspired. But daily inspiration to me, and it comes through faith, I think, above all. Like I love the weather outside, taking a run and spending time just in the nature and just talking to God about life and other things. There's a reset to that.
Yeah.
That is important. It is like breath. And I think without it, I'm a different person often.
Right.
When I don't have that moment.
Yeah, to your point about like if we let our dark side take over, it's like there was a quote that you just reminded me of, which was a cynic knows the cost of everything but the value of nothing.
That's good.
So like we only think about like, what am I going to, okay, but they're thinking about, but you're not looking for like, what is the value of actually doing this thing?
Yeah.
That makes it worth all the obstacles.
Yeah, I was thinking of the scripture this morning, you can gain the whole world and lose your soul. And we only think of that in terms of eternity, right?
Yeah.
Future eternity, heaven, hell kind of stuff. But I think you can lose your soul in any given day, right?
Yeah. That's one of the reasons it makes this meeting so hard because John, I think you know why I've called you.
Johnny, if I've gained the whole world, I didn't know about it.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think I meet the first condition.
You got ripped off.
But how often do we at least seek to gain something, whether, like you said, even if it's, I think knowledge is a big thing we're all trying to gain, or an understanding, or I want to wrap this mystery in simplistic certainty, whether it's political or whether it's theological or whatever. Like, I want to wrap the mystery in my own simplistic certainty that I can express and that you have no defense to. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to gain the world, right? I'm trying to gain a fullness of this that no one else can have. And I think that we can lose our soul in that. Like, I think in the Greek, I think the soul is like, it looks like anime. I don't know how you pronounce it in Greek because I don't speak Greek. Oh. But there's an animation to it, right? I believe. Or no, psyche actually, soul. But we're animated in this place where there's something more than just the stimuli. There's something more than just what I do physically. And I think even outside of religion, people acknowledge that. The life in your eyes, right? Yeah. The things that are in there that aren't just based on reproducible scientific methods. And so, I want to be inspired. And I think if you have the pathways, I think whether they're, to me, again, a faith pathway of being inspired by the right things, by truth, by setting my course, not by the waves, but by the stars, it does take intentionality. And that's the crazy part. We used to laugh around here, like, we want to plan our spontaneity, right? Like, but people think it has to be so organic. But I think the disciplines, they don't have to lose the soul part of that either. All they do is say, I'm making time to show up for something bigger than me in this moment to do that inspiring. Yeah,
my buddy Aaron Weber, who's a great comic, he has this bit about how he said he had a friend who said that they take their wedding ring off every night and put it by the bedside table, and they put it on every day when they wake up. They go, that's me deciding every day to commit to this relationship. He's like, look, I don't know where you're from, but that's not how marriage works at all for me. If I had to commit every day, if I wasn't just like a commitment that I've made, he goes, I'd be married like 2 days a week. Like, in other words, if we just let our feelings dominate us or whatever. But I don't know. It's just such a funny idea.
That's interesting. No, I think I'm actually, I know we did Marcus Aurelius last week. I'm actually subscribed to some, I get like Stoic quotes from the Stoics, and there's such interesting things there about that controlling of the feelings being a part of, well, again, you don't conquer the mountain, you conquer yourself, right? Yeah. That idea. And
I didn't change the rock, I changed you.
Yeah. It is so true. Pressing against that hard thing, and culture has taught us, avoid the hard thing. Right. Find the thing that's not difficult. And I told you today my dad's family motto. Yeah. He used to quote. I think he acted like he wrote it, but you acted like you'd heard it.
I've heard it before.
Maybe you heard it from Dad.
It could be. That's true. We hung around some.
I don't know. And I never really liked it. And then the other day I realized.
Did he claim it was his?
I don't know.
Like Benjamin Franklin
he just
said
had the grandkids say it all the time.
He's right. Your dad's plagiarizing.
And I'm such an idiot. I wish my dad was around so much for me to be like, sorry, Dad, about that. Yeah. And I never told him I didn't like it or something. But I was just like, okay, well, that's, I'll do the writing around here. I don't know what I was thinking. But like he would say, the difficult we do immediately, the impossible takes a little longer. Yeah. And it was clunky to me a little bit in the delivery for some reason. And the other day I realized that's exactly what I'm trying to teach my daughter right now. Mm-hmm. Just go do the hard thing, regardless of what you feel. You'll do it. You can do way more. And then you'll look up and you've accomplished impossible things that you thought were impossible 2 months ago. And so, man, we need that inspiration in order to face those things, just as we need breath. Yeah. There you go.
Miss your dad. He was a great man.
I know. I miss him too.
All right, John, let's do my segments. Let's start with Johnny's old jokes. We call it Joke About That. John, a thief enters a house at night intending on robbing the entire place. In the dark, he starts hearing, Jesus is watching you. Jesus is watching you. Panicked, he looks around for the source of the whisper when he finds a parrot in a cage with the name Moses pinned on it. Relieved, he says, who's the idiot who named a parrot Moses? The parrot answers, the same idiot that named the pit bull Jesus. John, a man runs into a doctor's office and screams, Doctor, doctor, I'm shrinking. The good doctor calmly replies, I'm afraid you're going to have to be a little patient.
Come on, guys, a little patient. Okay.
And finally, John, a skeleton walks into a bar. We've all heard this.
Every week, I love it.
He says, I'd like a pitcher of beer and a mop, please. Let's do This Week in History. We call it Talk About Then.
You see, guys, because it was going to flow right through him.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
He still wanted the beer, though. This is kind of because I want to just kind of expand this segment into because I like weird history facts. Sometimes they don't always line up with the date or the week that we're in, but I heard this great weird history thing, and I wanted to put it in here today because Curry brought it up. Did you know that during his presidency, Gerald Ford cleverly trained his golden retriever Liberty to serve as a subtle meeting ender? When Ford felt a discussion had run its course, he would discreetly signal Liberty, who would promptly enter the room and charm the guest with her friendly demeanor, demanding attention. Wow. People think Ford was this bumbling guy, but that's pretty good.
Oh, listen, I watched an interview with Ford, and was way smarter.
No, that's pretty good.
Anything, yeah.
That's pretty good, man. And it made me think there was an app that came out, this was 4 or 5 iterations of iPhone ago that the App Store got this app, and somebody showed it to me, and I never downloaded it, but it was a meeting ender app. Basically, you could set a timer or hit a button discreetly, hit the toggle of the side, and it would prompt a telephone call, and the call would come from whatever you want it to be. It could say Oprah Winfrey. It could say Barack Obama. It could say whatever you want. Yeah. And people use it for one of two things. I could think of endless uses for it, but the two that I immediately thought of was if you wanted to get out of something, you'd be like, I got to go, this is my mom, or whatever. She's whatever. And then you just get out of the room. But the one I thought of is if you're in a meeting with a client, you're trying to impress them, you could have it be a really important, and they see it go up, and you go, I'm sorry about that. And you pretend that you're more important than Donald Trump or whoever is trying to get through to me now. And I just think that's such a funny, anyway, but training your dog to come over and end the meeting is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Scott tried that.
Oh, right.
With Ryan.
Yeah.
He was like, hey, our biggest customer calls it. You tell him I'm in with the most important person, my boss. He was like, Michael, you can't skip a meeting with your biggest customer. Take the call. And I forget what he said on the call when he finally answered it. But
good. Well, no, he ends up saying it's your mother. She's in the hospital or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Take the call. No,
it's fine.
She does this. But anyway, that was just something I thought from history that I thought was interesting. Okay, John, this week, though.
Okay.
585 BC, a solar eclipse halted a battle between the Lydian and Median armies. Did you know this? An eclipse ended a war. A long-standing border dispute between the Lydian and Median kingdoms had resulted in a protracted war. A total solar eclipse occurred on May 28th, 585 BC during a fierce battle. Both sides interpreted the eclipse as an ominous sign, leading them to cease hostilities. The battle was halted. A peace treaty was negotiated, including a royal marriage between the daughter of the Lydian king and the son of the Median king.
Come on.
I mean,
that's
wild.
How many people were blinded that day, I wonder?
Well, and somebody else had predicted by the Greek philosopher Thales of Miletus. It was interpreted as a sign from the gods by both sides, leading them to lay down their arms and negotiate a peace treaty. The event became known as the Battle of the Eclipse.
You know, guys, sometimes you're in a conflict, and it feels like there's a lot of shadows.
It does.
Maybe that's a sign. Make some peace. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. There's no.
Give your daughter in marriage to the person you're arguing with. Maybe that's the other thing.
The predictable.
Yeah, that's what you want to do.
That's fine. John, this week in 1972, Michelangelo's Pieta statue of the Virgin Mary holding Jesus in her lap is attacked by a man with a hammer screaming, "I am Jesus Christ, I have risen from the dead." He smashed her face, broke off her left arm below the elbow. Many of the broken pieces were taken by onlookers. What's this? It's terrible.
Okay, what year was this?
1972.
Where's the security?
I don't know, but many of the broken pieces were taken by onlookers, including Mary's nose, which was never recovered. Her nose was reconstructed.
Mary, did you nose? I'm sorry.
It's Mary got your nose. Mary got your nose.
See, this is if we wrote a book, how it would be. I would come up with, I got there, you just needed to refine it.
Pretty good. Yeah. Her nose was reconstructed from a block cut out of her back. So it's basically like a weird sculpture skin graft.
That's what like a surgeon does today, right?
Yeah.
And takes out a vein here and puts it there. Takes out something out of your back, makes a nose here. I don't really know a lot about surgery. But
or sculpting.
No.
You know, I was thinking about getting a bust of my own likeness. Did you ever hear this? But maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. John, This week, 1950, a tornado. This is the final news story of the.
Okay.
This is the final This Week in History. This week, John, 1950, a tornado passing over a chicken coop in Linslade, England, caused a sudden drop in pressure so severe that it plucks the feathers off all the chickens.
Wow.
The chickens survived. So these were just it's like a cartoon. It's like a Looney Tunes. So it's a weird.
I bet people.
It's weird to think about a tornado in England. At all.
I'm sure
they have bad weather that's gloomy and whatever. You always think about it being gray and gloomy and stormy, but tornado plucked the chickens. And they survived, but for how long? Because they're almost ready to go. You know what I'm saying? If you pluck the feathers for me, you've done a lot of the work.
I was thinking,
now it's like,
my gosh, how can I not just go ahead and eat this chicken?
I am starving. Mm-hmm. I was not even thinking of you in that way, but all of a sudden, now, you look delicious.
Yeah. I feel like a tornado plucking the chickens sounds like a bluegrass song or something. We should get our buddy Caleb to write about that.
Oh, yeah, Caleb.
Tornado plucked. I don't know. It's I don't do bluegrass either. I don't do sculpting. Okay, there's a lot of list of things. You could fill a library with the things I don't know, Johnny.
And you have. It's behind you. Some of those things you even wrote. No. Yeah. John, how would they find out more about your books?
My books?
Yeah.
You could go to johndriver.com, actually. I don't talk about that website a lot.
You should.
It redirects to other places.
Come on, man. Toot your own horn.
Did you know that the Ultimate Guide for the Avid Indoorsman is on sale at christianbook.com for 49 cents right now?
That's a value.
That means they're trying to get rid of them.
Yeah,
they're like, please, can we get rid of this?
But is that shipping or is that an ebook? What is that?
That's the paperback.
Wow.
I thought about buying them all up myself and reselling them to people who don't want to read it.
That's a shame.
And then I got really dark.
John, how would they find out more about our show?
They'll go to talkaboutthatpodcast.com.
Click on the upper right-hand link. If you want to support the show, we love our patrons. You get ad-free content that way. If you want to send us a note, just send an email to hello@talkaboutthatpodcast.com. talkaboutthatpodcast.com. As we said before, I've got a lot of shows coming up, new dates and cities being added all the time, and we'd love to see you at a live show, live comedy show. Comedy's so much better live. Get out there, man. The arts are in trouble because of AI, but they haven't learned how to do jokes yet, just yet.
Not yet.
So until that happens, come see me say things into a microphone, if you would.
Yeah, you guys should check them out. If you haven't been to a Jonnie W live show, you should go. And if you're a podcast listener, stop by the table afterwards.
Yes.
Let them know. It means a lot to us every time.
It does. And I hear from a lot of them. We're getting thousands and thousands of downloads now. So it is cool to meet people who listen to the podcast at the shows. And
do you have podcast buttons yet?
I need to make one, Don.
Okay.
I will. I'm going to make a button.
It could say, what it goes off the bingo card, right?
Yeah,
something. What would be the things from the podcast?
It needs to be,
There's no way to know.
Yeah.
Or
Mary, did you know?
The classics.
The classics.
Yeah. Hey, guys. Thanks for all the time you gave us today. Let's do it again next week here on
Talk About That.